Welcome back, guys, to the hardcore run of Final Fantasy 1 for the NES. We just destroyed Astos, so now it's time to start the mini trade quest leading up to the Mystic Key and eventually destroying the canal so that we can reach the Earth Cave to fight Lich, the Fiend of Earth. So our first destination will be Matoya's Cave. We won the Matoya's Crystal from Astos whenever we defeated him. Returning that crystal to Matoya will make her give us an herb that we have to give to the Prince of Elfland. After we've done that, he'll give us the Mystic Key. But I'll hold off on treasure hunting for now until we've finished off the full trade quest and everything. But for now, we're headed back to Elfland so we can get back on our ship and go to Matoya's Cave. So let's just keep on moving. Gotta head down into the east a little bit. Enemy parties like ogres and creeps aren't too bad. Fire 2 helps out a lot with destroying the creeps, and it does a pretty good amount of damage to ogres. We've been really lucky not to lose any of our warriors so far. I thought for sure that we would have lost one against Astos because he usually likes to start off that battle using Rub, which can kill one of your warriors instantly. So yeah, I thought for sure that I'd lose one of my warriors against him, but I'm really glad that I didn't. The next dungeon that we're going to have to travel through is the Earth Cave, and that can be kind of troublesome as well in this kind of a challenge, because that cave has quite a few cockatrice enemies, and they can turn you to stone. It's actually up to you whether or not you want to count stone as a permanent death or not. You can count it as a status ailment that you can cure. I personally am going to count it as death, though, so that's going to make the Earth Cave kind of troublesome. We're going to have to do our best to avoid all those cockatrice enemy parties. I'm sure we'll be able to do it just fine, though. Hopefully, anyway. Got us back to full health at the end there. Our next destination is pretty much just straight up north. We gotta sail past Corneria and underneath the bridge, and then we can head up just a little bit and we'll be at Matoya's Cave. Or if you actually wanted to, you can just dock the ship at Corneria and travel up north. It's faster to take the dock closer to Matoya's Cave, though, in my opinion. I kinda like the little ship minigame that you can do in this game if you're on the ship and you keep pressing A and B a whole bunch of times. It has like a little number slider type game. I rarely play it, but it is a nice little extra feature or whatever. I think that is pretty cool, but I probably only actually completed it a total of maybe 5 times in my whole life. It's not really super hard to do or anything, I just never really take the time to do it. The reward that you get from it just isn't really worth playing the minigame in this version of Final Fantasy 1, in my opinion. You only earn, I think, 100 gold. Which it's still a nice little minigame, and it's cool that you get a reward for it, but that is kind of a lame reward. You get a much better reward if you're playing other versions. You can get a ton of money as well as some items if you get first place in the minigame. This version won't time you as you play it, I don't believe, but the rest of the versions will. And if you get a good enough time, you'll get good rewards, stuff like that. Still, though, even in the other versions of Final Fantasy 1, I still don't do the ship minigame. I just find it funner to slaughter enemies for my experience in gold. We're just about to the Cave of Matoya. Kinda like the brooms that are inside of her cave that talk backwards to you. Whenever I was younger, I never understood what they were saying, of course, because they're talking backwards. I always just read it as Telchus Bihu Schwip, a magic spell. I'm just like, what? Then I got the official strategy guide from my older brother, and I read that they're talking backwards, and I'm like, oh. Brings up the world map. Alright, our next destination now that we have the herb is back to Elfland. We have to give it to the Prince of Elfland, and whenever he wakes up, he'll give us the Mystic Key. I want to be doing my Mystic Key treasure hunting later on. I want to be doing that off camera before we go to the Earth Cave. But for now, we're just going to stick to doing the main trade quest, or whatever you want to call it. Next up, we had to get the Mystic Key. Then from there, we had to go to Corneria and go into one of the locked rooms, and it'll have a treasure chest with TNT in it that we got to take to the Dwarf Cave, and then he'll explode the TNT and blow up the canal. And then we can get over to Melmond, and then eventually the Earth Cave. So yeah, we don't have a whole lot to do left with the trade quest here. It's about halfway over, I'd say. Get away from these imps. I'm surprised that some of my warriors can't run away from them. They're just imps. Come on, guys. There you go. Leave it to the thief to do the running. Alright, back down south we go. I really like that you can sail underneath the bridge. I don't know why. I just find that it to be kind of fun to sail underneath it. Alright, let's see. We got some enemies. They got the first strike. We'll just run after they're done trying to beat us up. We'll be getting an upgrade to my White Mage's weapon here pretty soon. It's about time. The White Mages take forever to get upgrades to their weapons, but then again, you know, mages aren't really about fighting physically. They're all about the magic. I probably won't get her weapon on screen. I'll probably just wait until I do my Mystic Key treasure hunting, and I'll just get it then. Alright, got another random encounter here, just some wolves. We'll go ahead and take advantage of that preemptive strike and run. Wolves aren't worth our time, in my opinion. Alright, we're now at the Castle of Elf. Time to give the herb to, well, the prince's attendant or whatever, and then the prince will wake up. Find it kind of odd that if you talk to the prince while you have the herb, he'll just keep sleeping. You have to talk to the attendant or whatever. The little statues that are at the bottom of the room on the left and right always look like flying pigs to me. Kind of weird, not really sure what exactly they're supposed to be, but, oh well. They just always looked like flying pigs or flying warthogs or something to me. Kind of strange. Now that we have the Mystic Key, we're headed directly north from here to Corneria Castle. We gotta go in there, and then there will be a lock room with TNT. One thing that's kind of interesting with the Corneria Castle is that there's actually an invisible woman. If you use the Walk Through Walls Game Genie code, you can actually see her. You'll have to enter one of the Mystic Key rooms and then walk out the wall to the left, and then you can see her. So yeah, it's kind of weird. It looks like they kind of programmed her in like backwards from like all the other non-playable characters in town. Like whenever you walk into a room, all the non-playable characters that are outside of the room will disappear, and you can only see what's inside the room. And then whenever you leave the room, you know, you can see the non-playable characters outside again. But it seems like they did the data for her backwards on accident, like if she were inside the room instead of outside of it. Kind of interesting. I actually didn't know about that for a long time, not until I got that player's guide from my older brother, I don't think. Or maybe I first read it on the internet, I can't remember. It's been a really long time. Got the TNT, we may as well go and get the rest of these treasure chests. We can't really use any of this iron armor. That's alright though, we can sell it for some extra money, use that for new spells. The iron staff isn't really worth it. The saber would be okay, but we're about to get the dragon sword for the thief. Without doing class change, the dragon sword and the coral sword are both tied for the thief's best weapon. I always give him the dragon sword personally. Not only does it have a cooler name, but I think that it has a better color as well. Green looks cooler than pink for the thief in my opinion. Alright, we got some sahags. We'll just run from them. Our next destination is the Dwarf Cave, where we have to give the TNT to Nerik or whatever you want to say his name as. Then he'll be all like, yay, and he'll blow open the canal. Getting quite a few random encounters, mostly big packs of smaller enemies like sahags and wolves. You know, stuff that ain't worth our time. Alright, head over here to the left. One thing that kind of cracks me up in this cave is there's one random dwarf that whenever you talk to him, he's just like, hooray! I know it's a mistranslation, like in the Japanese version. I'm pretty sure that he says lally-ho, like all other dwarves in the Final Fantasy series do. But in this game, he's just like, hooray! Hooray about what? What are you so happy for? Hooray! Okay. Guess he's just happy to see the Light Warriors or something. Heck, I don't know. We got some more treasure down here. I'll just come back to the Dwarf Cave off camera and collect all that, though. Here's the dwarf we have to give the TNT to. And just like that, the canal has now been blown open and we can sail the seas wherever we want to. Of course, we can only dock at rivers whenever we have the canoe, and we can dock at, well, docks whenever we see those. Pretty much we're just limited to being able to dock at places on the southern part of the world. There's only really like one place in the northern part of the world where you can dock at, and that's whenever you have the canoe. You can dock right by the Castle of Ordeals, which is how I usually go there. I find it easier to get to the castle by traveling the seas. If you take the airship, you have to walk a longer ways and put up with tougher enemies, so I usually just take the ship. Just got us a lone ogre here, may as well take that out. One more hit should do it. Definitely one more hit, there we go. Alright, our next destination is to the west a little bit, to Melmond. Whenever we get there, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off and do some level grinding and stuff. Of course, I'll be doing that off camera, so I'll see you all here in just a few minutes once all that's done. I'm also going to do my Mystic Key treasure hunting. So whatever the case, I'll see you all in just a minute. Alright, I have now bought everything that I wanted to buy now. The team is now level 19. Here's Red Mage Hat stats. Thief Hope stats. White Mage Doom stats. And finally, Black Mage Onyx's stats. As far as armor is concerned, almost everybody has Silver Bracelet, Cap, and Gloves. The Thief and Red Mage both have bucklers now. And the Red Mage has silver armor that I got from the Dwarf Cave. I went to Crescent Lake and bought some new weapons and magic. We had the Silver Sword, Dragon Sword, Silver Hammer, and Silver Knife for the weapons. For magics, I got up through all level 5 magics for the Red Mage. He can't learn any others until he becomes a Red Wizard. I got level 6 magic for both the White Mage Doom and Black Mage Onyx. I'm going to wait until Black Mage Onyx becomes a Black Wizard and I'm going to get him Warp. There's all my items and everything. Alright, our next destination is just to the left and south a little bit. We are going to the Earth Cave. We actually have to make 2 trips through the Earth Cave. One to take out the vampire, and then after we've taken out the vampire, our way deeper into the cave will be blocked. So we have to get a ruby that's right behind the vampire, and then we leave the cave, go through Titan's Tunnel, and then we get a rod. Then after getting the rod, you have to re-enter the Earth Cave and make your way deeper into it, and then you'll fight the Fiend of Earth. For now, though, let's just go ahead and do our first trip through it. Go ahead and take out the vampire. Even though the vampire is an enemy from later on in the game, he's still really easy at this point. Especially if you have a lot of mages. You gotta figure we have Fire 3, 2 Fire 3s to be exact, and a Harm 3. We can take him out first turn, no problem, I'm very sure of it. I'm not too interested in fighting these Cobras. Again, it's just another pack of weaker enemies that I'm not too interested in fighting. The vampire is located on the 3rd floor of the Earth Cave. Not too far down. For the most part, the enemies in the Earth Cave aren't too bad, especially on the 1st and 2nd floors. Whenever you get to the 3rd floor, that's whenever the enemy parties start to get a little troublesome, because that's when wizards can appear, and you can't run from wizards at all. And cockatrices will also appear, and they can turn you to stone, so that's really annoying. Those last few floors also have enemies that can start paralyzing you, and they like to appear in big groups, like ghouls and geists, or geist, however you want to pronounce that. Just enemies like that that can paralyze you, and that can also be really annoying. While I was money grinding, I went ahead and raided out some of the treasures here in the Earth Cave. I only raided the treasures from the floors that had safe random encounters on them. I didn't bother going to the more dangerous floors because I didn't want to risk getting turned to stone or anything like that. We are just about off the 2nd floor. Just gotta go down this narrow hallway here. Over here to the right, of course, we got a bat in the way. It's even more annoying whenever you finally get around a bat and then you get in a random encounter. It just makes the bats that much more annoying that you had to go around them. Of course, we had to be poisoned, I mean. No worries, though. We'll go ahead and cure that with pure. There we go. Go ahead and redo the party. I kind of like the Black Mage's overworld sprite. He looks really cool in my opinion. He probably has my favorite overworld sprite, to be honest. He also looks really cool as a Black Wizard on the overworld. One debate that I've seen happen quite a bit with Final Fantasy I is whether or not a White Mage is a girl or a boy. I used to think that the White Mage was a boy from the strategy guide that I got from my older brother, but I actually think nowadays that it's a girl. It just seems more feminine to me. I've seen some people say that they think the White Mage looks more like a girl whenever it's a White Mage, and then it looks more like a boy whenever it becomes a White Wizard. I don't think so at all. I think that it looks like a girl as both a White Mage and a White Wizard. That's just me, though. Another thing that makes me think that the White Mage is a girl is because most White Mages in the Final Fantasy series do seem to be girls. You got Rosa and Porum and all those kind of people. Of course, you got male White Mages as well, like Minwu from Final Fantasy II. Still, though, I think that most White Mages are girls, and that just makes me think that the Final Fantasy I was supposed to be a girl as well. Either way, it doesn't really matter, but that's just my thoughts on it. Glad that those bats got out of the way fairly quickly. Find it interesting that the bats on this floor are orange. Couldn't hardly talk there for a second. Alright, nice. Glad we got away from those cockatrices. Okay, we got another bat in the way. Go up, go up. Okay, good. It's going to be really annoyed if it started going down and we had to keep pushing our way through it. Come on. The bats are out to get us on this floor. So are the cockatrices. Let's get out of here. Oh, okay, good. Alright, good. Down we go. Yeah, I remember a bat once was in this narrow hallway here, and I had to wait forever for it to get out before I could get to the vampire. It was really annoying. Go ahead and get back to full health really quick using our level 1 cure. We're good enough now. The vampire should go down really quickly. I'll cast 2 fire 3s, a harm 3, and have my thief attack. That should be way more than enough to take him out. Even though I have heal 2, it actually recovers the same amount of health as heal 3 whenever you use it in battle. Just another one of those Final Fantasy 1 bugs. I'd normally actually choose the life spell over heal 2, but since we're never allowed to revive any allies, you know, the life spell is now useless to us, and therefore I figured heal 2 would be the better option for us anyway. Time to get back out of this here Earth Cave. Gotta run from all these guys. Actually, we'll just cast some magic. There we go. And there we go. Should take out these guys without too much of a problem. In a solo run, these kind of enemy parties are really annoying, because once you get paralyzed, good luck getting back out of it. It is possible, but also very annoying. Especially if you're somebody like a fighter, they'll just kind of really slowly whittle away at your health. You'll have like 600 HP and they'll just take off 1 HP at a time, so it takes forever for them to stun kill you. Whatever the case, so with 4 people, they're not too bad. Just gotta make our way back out of the Earth Cave. Once we get out of the Earth Cave, we have to head to the northwest through the Titan's Tunnel. The only way how you can get through the Titan's Tunnel is if you have a rupee to give to the Titan. A ruby, not a rupee. Dang Zelda. Got Lightning 3, that should take out the wizards really well. It's too bad that we can't get the warp spell or the exit spell before class change. You'd think that we'd be able to get at least warp before the class change. But whatever. We can make our way back out on foot, no problem. Especially once we get back to the second and first floors, there aren't any terrifying enemies on those floors. Really, the only enemy that makes me worry on this floor is cockatrices, because they can kill us instantly. We should be okay, though. We're just about to the staircase leading back up. Got more wizards that we're forced to fight here. No worries, though. That's why I got Lightning 3. It'll help us take out the wizards really quickly. Wizards can still hit pretty hard for this point in the game. You'll end up seeing a lot of really big groups of wizards in the Ice Cave later on. And once again, you can't run from them there either. Although in the Ice Cave later on, there will be even bigger threats for us to worry about. Stuff like the mages that have a really good chance of getting first strike and they love to use rub. Then there's also sorcerers, which are pretty much like a stronger wizard. They can kill you instantly by hitting you. They'll hit you, it'll say that you took 2 damage, but you died anyway. So it's like their physical attacks have the effect of the spell rub. So they're really annoying, not to mention they know the spell trance, which can potentially paralyze your entire party. Then of course there's pretty much the boss of the Ice Cave, the enemy that's guarding the floater, the Eye. He can use XXX and glance and all sorts of other things on you. So he's also another really annoying enemy. The Ice Cave is going to be pretty tricky to get through, but we might lose as many as 2 or 3 warriors in the Ice Cave. I certainly hope not, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens. If we're really lucky, we won't lose any, but I fully expect to lose at least 1 warrior in the Ice Cave, but I hope we don't. We're not too much further from getting out of the Earth Cave here. Kind of like the way how the Earth Cave's floor looks. It almost kind of looks like lava. Or like we're walking on like some kind of weird meteorite or something. I don't know, but I do like the way how it looks. Pretty cool. I like that they have a Hall of Giants over to the left side. It's pretty good for leveling up, I suppose. Although I usually just stick to leveling up outside myself. Because I'm closer to town and everything. It's easier to heal up that way whenever you need your magic back or anything. Alright, got away from these cobras. Time to get out of here. There we go. Time to head to the northwest. There's also some treasure in the Titan's Tunnel that we can get, but I'm not going to worry about getting it. At least not till later. I'll come back for it and get it to sell. I don't think that we can really use any of it or anything, though. We're headed out west to meet up with a sage named Sarda. Which, I remember whenever I was younger, I used to think that Sage was a girl, because that name always sounded close to the girl named Sarah to me. So I always thought of that as like a female sage. Just kind of secluded herself in that cave because all other sages were boys or something. Heck, I don't know. Try to get away from these shadows. The dark status is probably the least threatening status ailment in this entire game. Doesn't really do much to you. Plus we have the spell Lamp, which gets rid of it, so that's also good. As much as I love Final Fantasy I, I do kind of wish that we had a few more classes. Again, though, it's just the first Final Fantasy game. I'd especially like to see a class like the Blue Mage here in Final Fantasy I. It'd give you a reason to fight War Mech. You could learn nuclear from him. Alright, give the rupee to this Titan and move on. The job system is actually one of my favorite things in the entire Final Fantasy series. It's a shame that they've kind of moved away from the job system in more recent Final Fantasy games. That's one of the reasons why I replay Final Fantasy I so much, is the job system. You can have so many different possible combinations and stuff for your team. And that always just keeps me coming back and trying out different combinations and doing different challenges for them. So yeah, I do miss the job system and wish that they'd put more focus into it. I know that they just released a phone game not too long ago, Final Fantasy Dimensions, and it uses the job system, which that's cool, but I'm not too much into phone games or anything like that. If it ever gets a console release or something, though, I'll definitely download it and give it a try. But I haven't really read much about Final Fantasy Dimensions or anything. I mentioned Zelda earlier. There's actually a Final Fantasy game. Well, actually, it's a Mana game, but it has the Final Fantasy name on it that I really like. It's called Final Fantasy Adventure. It's for the original Game Boy. It plays a lot like a 2D Zelda, but with Final Fantasy stuff in it, like chocobos and magic, and you gain levels and stuff like that. But other than that, it really does play almost exactly like Zelda, and I really like that because I'm a big fan of Zelda as well. Whatever the case, so we just got the rod from the sage. Time to head back to the east. Then we'll go ahead and save at the Earth Cave and everything. Probably gonna go collect a little bit of treasures that I missed, like the stuff out of the Titan's Tunnel. Then I'm gonna go heal at Melmond. Then after that, we'll do our next run through the Earth Cave. I just want to get our health and magic back for whenever we get to Lich, the Fiend of Earth. We want to try to run from most enemies in the Earth Cave, that way we can save all of our magic and health before that battle. Lich shouldn't put up too much of a problem, though. We got 2 Fire 3s and a Harm 3. He might end up going out first turn. He only has 400 HP, and our spells hit pretty hard, so we might end up killing him first turn. Whatever the case, like I said, let's just keep heading back east. I remember whenever I was younger, I always expected some kind of ice-type enemies to be appearing in the Titan's Tunnel, because the Titan's Tunnel always looked like it was iced over or something to me. Looks more like an ice dungeon than the Ice Cave does anyway, at least in my opinion it does. The Ice Cave isn't too bad. Well, actually it is bad. I hate the Ice Cave. So many enemies that can kill you instantly in that place. Still though, it's nice for a challenge. Alright, just about out of the Titan's Tunnel. Okay. Not too much further from the Earth Cave. Like I said, we're probably just going to go back to the Earth Cave and I'll end this part there. And I'll go ahead and collect some more treasures and earn a little bit more money off screen. Heal us at Melmond, then next time we'll be going through the Earth Cave and defeating the Fiend of Earth. Like I said, he shouldn't be any problem at all. We got plenty of magic to handle it, as well as plenty of potions and everything to keep our HP up. Got some more shadows here. Let's just run from them. They're especially not worth our time. Alright, let's get out of here. Right next to the Earth Cave, and we have to go through random encounter. Alright. Alright, we are now back at the Earth Cave, and, well, next time we'll be taking out Lich, the Fiend of Earth. And, well, that is it for Part 2.